How to be kind with your touch. It sounds like such a simple thing, but we don't find so much kindness in the world at times. We can see that very plainly. And when people come for yoga classes, they often need many things from that yoga class, but one of the things they may need is a simple kindness. And a way that we can be kind, of course, is with our touch. There are other ways, but with our touch should always be kind. So I'm here at our ashram in Nayardam, and there's a teacher's training course going on, and I've been reflecting a little bit on how do we teach people how to touch, what that touch means, and what their intentions are behind that touch. So one thing we can say for sure, it's something that needs to be investigated. How, as a yoga teacher, I'm touching people. That touch should always, always be gentle. It should always be minimal. So we should not touch more than is required. And it should always be in service of the student. It should not be in service of our own egos. So we do need to investigate, why am I touching a person? Is it that I want them to do something better so that I feel good as a yoga teacher that I got them to do something? Is it be out of care? Is it out of compassion? Sometimes being standing back and not touching is also being caring and being compassionate. So there's much to unpack. And so as I watch the students, and you'll see some shots of them here, as they're learning not only how to touch other people, but how to touch themselves. So when we practice, maybe something that sits behind how we touch students is, how do we touch our own self? How do we treat our own self? Are we sort of rough with ourselves, touching the skin in a rough way, picking at the skin, scratching in a way? Are we gentle with ourselves? And sometimes we don't take the time to feel our own gentle touch. So part of touch is investigating these things called hands, and how those hands, of course, have so many sense receptors in them, and symbolically, they're how we do things in the world, how we take actions in the world. So our hands, when we touch people, we can, of course, harm a lot with these hands. So it's worth looking at the hands. The hands have very beautiful little chakra points in the middle of the palm. And if you look at the palm from the side, of course, it's a little bit hollow inside. And so that hollow is a little bit, we can't make pressure with that part. We can make pressure with the strong parts of the hand here. But that hollow part suggests that there's a little space, almost like a dome in a cathedral or a mosque, or a little hollow space like a suction cup. We have little hollow spaces in our body also. So that means that when we touch, it's never always about energy moving out from us to that person, but also there's energy that comes back, and there's a sort of receptiveness in our hands. So it's worth looking at the hands and saying, how do I touch? When I place the hand lightly, how light should the hands be? Should I be pressing quite hard? And it's sometimes difficult to navigate as a new teacher how much pressure I should use. And certainly we see people sometimes using too much pressure, or you can see that the way that they approach touching in the class might be, let me fix all these people, right? Like, just like I would fix the things in my home, I'm moving the things that are out of place, I'm putting them back in place, I'm folding the laundry, something like that. So it's worth looking at how we approach. If my intention is always good, if my intention is always for the best for the student, and I have an intention to be kind, to be compassionate, to be there for them in a sense and present, then my touch will probably always reflect that, and it will always be caring and gentle and minimal. But if my intention is different, as I said, to satisfy my own ego, I have to see how that might manifest in the touch. So it's worth practicing the touch a little bit and seeing how light is the touch? How heavy is the touch? Am I putting my own weight onto somebody and causing them to feel that they're bearing some of my weight as well, which is not ideal? And is the touch, is it necessary? Does it have to be a stroke in order to be kind? Maybe just the simple placing of the hand is enough to feel that touch, very light touch. When I think about the best touch that I've had, either maybe in a massage or in yoga class, it's very minimal. It's hardly anything, but somehow it was placed just the right way with the right intention, and I feel that. So these are difficult things to teach, and something to think about. Of course, our touches becomes very important. If people don't like our touch, that's not good, and we need to respect the person that we're touching. So if they don't wish our touch, we should be ready not to give it, and to have at the ready better verbal instructions that express what I want to say without actually having to touch. So, in fact, an experienced yoga teacher can do all of the corrections verbally and may not need to touch at all. So, a lot to think about. And I wish you all the best in your teaching and your practice and investigating. If you're not a teacher, investigate, how do I approach my own practice? Do I push a lot? Or do I kind of feel that gentleness? Do I treat myself gently when I'm in the yoga class? And of course, the best classes, I'll come out feeling as if I've been safe for an hour and a half. The best things come from a place where we start out by feeling safe. So I wish you all the best and hopefully feeling safe in your practice. Om Namah Shivaya.